Hello, how's it going today? We are going to be multiplying decimals. You've already learned how to multiply a whole number in a decimal. Today we're going to multiply a decimal by a decimal. Okay? So the first thing I want to start with is using a decimal model or a hundredth grid to show you how to multiply first. So we're going to start with this, and then we'll go into the actual ways to multiply decimal by decimal. So the first problem we're going to start with is 4/10 times 6/10. All right, so what I'm going to do is on one side, I'm going to shade in 4/10 going this way, and then I'm going to shade in 6/10 going this way in a different color. Okay, so let's start with 4/10. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm basically going to shade in that whole row red. Okay, so you just shade in your first decimal 4/10. If it was 5/10, you'd shade in 5 rows. Okay, now let's go to our other decimal. Our other decimal is 6/10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just double checking. And then what you do is you shade that going this way. Okay, just like that. Now your answer is going to be whatever has both colors in it. So if you'll see right here, this whole area has both colors in it. These ones just have one. So this is our actual answer. Okay, so you're going to count how many boxes you have, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So there's 24 hundredths because this is 10. These are tenths going like a whole row is a tenth, and each of these little squares is a hundredth, and there's 24 hundredths that have been shaded in. So that would be our answer. Okay, so you can do it this way. There's another way that the book does it where they don't really show the colors like going on like this, so I'll show you what I mean. You could do it this way or the other way I'm about to show you. So the way the book does it is they say, okay, this is 4/10, and then this is 6/10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, just like we just did. And then this way is 6/10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Oh, see, that's why I double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It should have ended right here. Okay, so basically, this whole area is your answer. So that's the way the book does it. They don't like shade all the way out. They just do, okay, this is 4/10, this is 6/10, and then they just kind of box it off like that. So I think this way is easier to kind of see what's going on, but if you want to do it this way too, that's fine. Okay, so let's do another problem. The next one we're going to do is 7/10 by 5/10. Okay, so on this side I'm going to write 7/10, and then on the other side 5/10. Okay, so 7/10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Double checking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I shade 7 rows of 10 because it's 7/10. Okay. Okay, now the other direction is going to be 5/10. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should end right there. Let me just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's right. Okay, and then I do 5/10 this way. And remember, our answer is whatever has both colors in it, which is this whole area. Okay, so then you're going to count the boxes and get your answer. If you were to count all the boxes, you would find that there's 35 boxes, but we have to write that as a decimal. It's 35 hundredths, okay? Or 30, each of these is a hundredth. So that's how we're going to write it. Sorry, it's out of the picture. 35 hundredths. There we go. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing now. All right. So again, the way the book does it, it's the same way, but instead of they don't keep shading on, they just do this little box. So I'll show you that one more time just so you can kind of see, so you can see both ways. 7/10 times 5/10. So 7/10 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we know it goes up to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that's 7. Now going this way, it's going to be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it should end there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the way the book does it again is they just go, all right, it must go this far over and this far up. So your answer is 35 hundredths. So both things are the same way. This one I just kind of kept coloring to show you like this was 5/10 and this was 7/10, but they just shade in the actual answer. They just don't keep going. So either way I think works, but you just need to know, you know, what this looks like. So, okay, so that's how you find the answers with grids or with a decimal model, they might call it. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the steps for multiplying a decimal by a decimal without using a grid. So the first thing I want to talk about are the steps. The first step is just multiply the way you normally would. Don't worry about the decimals until the end and just multiply like you would with any other problem, okay? And then step 2 is you want to count the decimal places, and then step 3, you're going to put that decimal into the answer after you've counted them. All right, so I'm going to show you these steps. So here is our first problem. It's 11 hundredths times 91 hundredths. So I know a big thing is people might be like, well, we have to make sure the decimals are lined up. On this one, yeah, they happen to be lined up, but you actually don't need to worry about that when you're multiplying because you're going to do these different steps instead, okay? So first step, multiply the way you normally would. Okay, so let's just pretend like the decimals aren't there for a minute and let's just multiply the way we would. So we're going to start with this number and multiply that all the way through. So 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 again is 1. 1 times 0 is 0. Okay, so we're done with this first line. Now we're going to go to the next one. First, put your placeholder there. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 0 is 0. Do you see on this problem how you don't need any placeholders right here. You need 1 right here and 2 right here. That's what you'll do, okay? And then you just multiply the way you normally would and just add them all up. Okay, so we just multiplied everything together. Now the second step is to count the decimal places, so that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so if we looked at our first number here, our first decimal, the decimal has moved in from the side 1, 2 spots. I'm going to show you that in a color. 1, 2. So we're going to write 2D to show the decimal has moved in 2 spots. Every number has a decimal in it, but we just don't show it a lot of times. Like 11. Does the number 11 have a decimal? It actually does. We could actually write it like that if we wanted to. But we don't write it like that because you don't need to. It's just 11. So what we're saying is the decimal has moved in 2 spots to actually make it 11 hundredths. So it's 2D. Okay? Now we're going to do it again right here. It has moved in 1, 2 spots. Okay, 2 spots here, 2 spots there. Add it together and you get 4D or 4 decimal spots. Okay, so in the answer, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, just like it says, decimal spots. So my answer is actually 0.1001, like that. Okay, so as you can see, we multiplied the way we normally would, then we counted the decimal places, and at the very end, we put the decimal into the answer. So let's try that again with another problem just to make sure you really got this down. So let's try our next one and our last one. It's 28 hundredths times 3 hundredths. Okay, step 1, multiply the way you normally would. Okay, so let's just ignore the decimals for a moment. 3 times 8, 24. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 more is 8. Okay, 3 times 0 is 0. And we're done with this. Now let's go to our next number. And it looks like it's going to be all zeros, but I just put them there as placeholders and stuff. So placeholder, 0, 0, 0, because 0 times 8 is 0, 0 times 2 is 0, 0 times 0 is 0. Okay, now to our next one, which is another 0. We put our 2 placeholders and then 1, 2, 3 zeros. Okay, now you're going to add all that up. There's a lot of zeros there, but like I said, I keep them there as a placeholder, and you might need it in the actual number, so that's why I do all that. Okay, we've just completed step 1. We've multiplied the way you normally would. Step 2 is to count the decimal places. Okay, so right here we can see the decimal is 1, 2 spots in. So I'm going to write 2D. Okay, right here the decimal has also moved 1, 2 spots in. Another 2 spots. So 2 plus 2 is 4 decimal spots. Okay, so we've just counted the decimal places. Now we're going to put the decimal into the answer. Okay, 4 decimal places. You start right here at the very edge like you did with these, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you see why I have all those zeros there? You need them in your actual decimal. Okay, so the answer is 0.0084 is the answer. And some of you might think, is that right? Because there's a lot of zeros there, you know? But yes, it is. We went through step by step and made sure we had everything there. You might get some longer decimals in this assignment. So, okay, well, good luck. Just remember to follow these steps and you should be just fine. I think the trickiest thing is counting the decimal places and making sure you're getting them in the answer as well. Also, make sure you're multiplying correctly too as you do the problem. Okay, good luck.